Don't know if we're live. Are we live? Oh yeah, we're live. Oh, yo. All right, we are live.
We are
How
live.
we doing, fellas?
Yo,
What's
yo,
up?
yo.
What is up?
Liam, take it away, mate.
Welcome to Unanimous Sports. Yeah, welcome to Unanimous Sports Talk here. We've got our morning show as always. Today we'll be covering a few topics. We're talking about the NBA champs, the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll be talking about the recent trade of Eric Bledsoe to the Clippers. We'll be talking about the LA Clippers, the big three in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Nets. We're talking about the Suns who lost to the Bucks, and we're talking about the 76ers. What's going on? Is Ben Simmons staying? What are they doing? What are they up to? And I think we'll start it off with the Milwaukee Bucks. AP, what are you thinking? The AP? Sorry. what are you talking? I'll rephrase that.
Start the stream again. Start it again. Run it back. Hold up. I'm posting the link now. Posting the link now. Here we go, boys. Here we go. If anyone's watching this, we're gonna trim this, mate. We're gonna trim this,
right. Do you want me to start from Milwaukee? Or just do it all again.
Link in bio. I don't know. Whatever. Start it all again.
All right.
Run it back, turbo.
All right. What up, people? We're at Unanimous Sports Talk. We got our morning show here. Today we're talking about the NBA champs, the Milwaukee Bucks. We're talking about the Eric Bledsoe trade, the LA Clippers, Brooklyn, Phoenix, the 76ers. We're talking about it all this morning. AP, how about you start us off here with the Milwaukee Bucks? What are your thoughts on their offseason so far?
I mean, look, what do they really need to do, mate? They lost PJ, but didn't you say they got the Hood, Rodney Hood, mate? That's a beneficial trade, mate. I think. Oh, not a trade. They just lost one and gained another. But yeah, they don't really need to do much. They just won the chip, so look at them, man. They're looking like playoff fucking W getters again. Sorry, this thing just popping off my head and it felt weird. It felt really weird. I was trying to concentrate, but yeah. Look, I mean, the Bucks, they can just pretty much run back what they did last year and have a really good shot at winning the title again. So. Not much to talk about. Giannis is only getting better. He's been getting better every season. So, I mean, I'm looking for an MVP-like season next season as well. But we'll see.
And Mike, what are you saying about the Bucks?
Ooh, I think that they've gotten a little better. I mean, they got rid of PJ Tucker. Getting rid of PJ Tucker. I'm a big fan of that guy. I don't know if you've seen one of our older videos. I'm choosing PJ Tucker over anyone to take that shot. Look, they lost him. They didn't really lose much else though, but he was a key piece. He was guarding D-Book and Chris Paul throughout that NBA Finals. So, look, I think that they have gotten better with the pieces they've added. I think they added some 3-and-D guys. Can't remember their names right now. But are they good enough to beat a full strength Nets? That's the question. That's what I don't think they've elevated themselves enough to get to that level. And then we obviously have to see what the 76ers and stuff are doing with Ben Simmons. So they could be another team that is NBA Finals worthy. So I think the Bucks have gotten better. I think they haven't gotten good enough to beat those Nets, even though they beat them, but 80% Harden and no Kyrie. So I don't think they've done enough. But that being said, if Giannis improves his three again, and keeps on improving it throughout the season. We saw his mid-range game in Game 5. If he keeps improving it, then he could very much be a LeBron-type player who doesn't really matter what pieces are around him. He's going to take him to the finals. So I'm saying it's all dependent on Giannis. If Giannis can beat a full-strength Nets team, if he can get good enough to beat a full-strength Nets team, he's going to be undoubtedly one of the best players of all time.
And it's hard to disagree with you, but I think that Brooklyn team is looking very, very strong. In terms of what Milwaukee have done this offseason, obviously, as you mentioned, lost PJ Tucker to the Heat. They managed to re-sign Bobby Portis, who many people thought was going to leave. He was huge in that finals run. He signed a 2-year, $9 million extension, which was pretty big
What a steal,
unders.
mate.
Pretty big unders, I would have thought, for a guy who was so pivotal in the finals. Kind of, I wouldn't say dominating against DeAndre Ayton, but definitely making that man work. Averaged 11 points, 7 rebounds in just 21 minutes last year. So Bobby Portis, huge to bring him back on such a good deal. They add Grayson Allen, who I don't know, from his college days was infamous for his tripping.
We'll run that clip. Should we?
Yeah, we can run that clip. We can run that clip. But I mean, whilst we run that clip, I don't know. Am I still talking in my? Or is that just
I'll just run the clip with you talking as well.
Yeah, but I mean, we know Grayson Allen for his work there back in college, but he is an elite wing defender, and that's kind of a great addition to any NBA team at the moment. They're looking for that 3-and-D wing defenders, and Grayson Allen is a 39% 3-point shooter. He's an elite defender. Add that to Milwaukee, where you've already got Giannis, Brook Lopez. You know, these are all defensive NBA players. George Hill as a veteran backup combo guard, who I think is a great pickup. He was waived by the 76ers, which I found very interesting. And they had a man from the Boston Celtics, Semi Ujale. He's a bit of a raw defensive beast. Clamped Giannis back in 2018, if some of you Milwaukee fans remember. I know I certainly remember. I thought I had high hopes for Semi Ujale, but hopefully with that kind of Milwaukee Bucks defense-heavy coaching style, can learn a bit from Giannis and Middleton and alikes. Drew Holiday. You know, if they can shape Semi Ujale into a solid bench player, I think the Bucks improved this offseason.
Facts, man. How about Giannis? What do you think about Giannis this year?
Boy, Giannis, it's hard to get better. It's hard to get better than what he put into the postseason last year. That was one of the best playoff runs in general, really. The finals was incredible. He had that 50-point game in Game 6, one of the all-time great finals performances. Put the team on his back to an extent. You know, he did have help from Middleton and Holiday in crucial moments, but Giannis, like, I don't know how he gets better, but I'm sure he will. The work that he's put in every offseason to become a better NBA player, it's truly a testament to how much of a professional Giannis is. And look, I don't think he can win MVP this year. I think NBA narrative will want to push a different story. But he will put up his 30 and 14. I'm pretty sure of that.
What if he puts up 30, 14, and 7?
No.
You won't get it? You reckon? I don't know, man. And what if they're first seed as well?
Okay, you're putting together a good point there. If the Bucks are the first seed,
and I mean, he can do it. Like, it's not like
it's
insane for him to not do that.
Nah, actually, you put together a pretty good point there. If Giannis can bring that Bucks team to number 1 in the East with a healthy Brooklyn, with the Heat, with the 76ers, I think he's definitely deserving of the MVP.
Do you think he's going to get it, AP?
I reckon he definitely can. Whether or not he does, though, because I mean, Giannis is someone who the Bucks do like to play a lot, even with you know, a game blown out, he'll still be on the court sometimes, you know, and that, like, all that stuff adds to your numbers, you know, over time. He plays a lot of minutes, doesn't he? What does he average, like 31 or something like that a game or more?
Yeah, but I don't think he plays like. I think they rest him quite a bit as well.
Oh, okay. So I guess they don't play him a lot then.
I think they play him like normal minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, what was I meant to say? Production in those minutes is really high, though.
Yeah.
Facts, man. Facts. Yeah, I mean, I think that it would take the first seed. Like, if he can get first seed against the Nets, Sixers, Boston, the Knicks, the Heat, he definitely deserves it, because they're pretty much like. I mean, the Heat aren't a super team per se, but they're a really, really good team. Nets are a super team, and I feel like we're forgetting someone here, but LiAngelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. If he can beat those teams, then what other player in the league will deserve it? Unless Steph puts up 50 a game.
Russell Westbrook potentially.
Hey, how's Westbrook gonna do it, mate? He's got LeBron on his team, man.
Yeah, legit. He's not getting there, unfortunately.
No, but all in all, I think, do you guys have anything to add for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Can't really talk much about them. I mean, everyone's after they win the championship, everyone's an expert, you know. So
yeah,
what are we doing?
Let us know what you think. Yeah,
Right.
send this video to your Bucks friends. You know, do they agree with this? Let us know in chat. Let us know in the comments. And what is our next topic?
The next topic is the kind of the blockbuster trade, I suppose. Not really. Our next topic is the Eric Bledsoe trade. Eric Bledsoe, who was traded from the Pelicans to Memphis, didn't even get to play a game there, has now been moved from Memphis to the Clippers in exchange for Patrick Beverley, Rajon Rondo, and the second-year center, Daniel Oturu. Mike, what are your thoughts on this Eric Bledsoe move?
For the Clippers, I think that perfect move. Honestly, you have Pat Bev. Look, I've always liked his dog attitude on defense, but you know it was really wearing off on me, especially when the Clippers gained that pretty bad attitude. Not last playoffs, but the playoffs before that, during the bubble where they were injuring Luka, like him, Morris,
yeah.
Yeah, and like they just became very unlikable. And I think getting rid of Pat Bev will help pave the way for, I guess, maybe Kawhi to take more of a leadership role, perhaps, but maybe someone to, just not to be too much of a loudmouth, because he'd be talking for the team when he's like the most garbage player on the court. So you can't be having that. And in terms of adding Bledsoe, he's another good defender. He was garbage for the Bucks in the playoffs, so you know he's been known to be a playoff choke. So I don't know where it takes him, because like the Clippers have been having some trouble at point guard during the playoffs. You know, especially 2 years ago. But look, it's all depends on Kawhi, I guess. That's what the Clippers' season, their playoff hopes depend on. Because they're a decent team. I don't think they have a very good center though. So, anyways, I'm kind of going all over the place.
Mate, you are slandering Zubaks, man.
That's very true. That is very true.
Zubac is a defensive liability. Anyone who likes him is Garb, mate. He's a good rebounder, but yeah. Anyways, what do you guys think?
What are your thoughts on the Bledsoe trade?
Yeah, look, man, I just think more in the sense of Pat Bev is a lot more. He's vocal, right? And he is Garb, but I mean, you can compare him to sort of Draymond, right? Like the guy who talks shit for the team, but I mean, they're both defensively good. Draymond's obviously better, but they're both the shit talkers of their team, and you know they're the ones who do the dirty work for the team. And I think you definitely need someone like that on your team. As much as I don't like him.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I think, look for me. I think that the Clippers probably win this trade. In terms, you know, they let go of Patrick Beverley, who his last moment as a Clipper was pushing Chris Paul in the back, which is a pretty dirty moment. I would have thought. Jerry West is the chairman of the Clippers, I believe.
I mean, he did apologize though.
He did apologize, but that doesn't fly with Jerry West. Jerry West was a very I don't know, played the game at a very high standard, very sportsmanlike kind of guy. Obviously had all those losses to the Boston Celtics, but was still an NBA champion in many eyes. And you know, maybe that didn't sit well with him. You know, Patrick Beverley, that kind of attitude, that bad boy attitude. Rajon Rondo, we saw him roast Kawhi for that terrible 3-point attempt in that Game 5 loss to Dallas. And so both of those players on the move, and that they free up $30 million in luxury tax that they would have had to pay because they were overs. They also had 17 players on the roster, so they kind of freed up that and moving 3 players. They bring in a 2-time all-defensive NBA player in Eric Bledsoe, who had a pretty off year last year, only having 12 points, 4 assists per game. But he is an elite defender, and I can't stress that enough. Losing Kawhi Leonard this season, Eric Bledsoe will hopefully, you know, give you 70 games, hopefully if he stays fit. And I think, you know, just kind of moving to the Clippers a little bit, I think having that veteran who's a few years younger than Rondo. Rondo's 35, so kind of losing Rondo. He was pivotal for that. It was really, really important for the Lakers in that playoff run, that championship run. But he just didn't really eventuate for the Clippers. And yeah, I think for me, the Clippers win this trade. But I'd be interested what Memphis do. We haven't really touched on what Memphis gained from this trade. They gain 2 point guards when they've already got Ja Morant and Tyus Jones. So for me, I think both of them would be on the trade block again, which is interesting.
I believe Pat Bev got traded.
Pat Bev's been traded already.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, again from the Grizzlies. Yeah.
Where has Pat Bev gone? Do we know this?
Minnesota, I think.
Yes, next to D'Lo.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay. So they did move quick on that.
Yeah, I mean, probably because he's guard, mate. But
yeah, but having a defensive guard next to D'Lo will be good. Since
Yeah,
D'Lo's
exactly.
a guard defender.
yeah, I mean, but look, man, he got 3 blocks on Trae Young in that 2K game.
Yeah, just a little inside joke there for the boys.
Yeah, mate.
Anyways, yeah, look, I think the Clippers, it all depends on, with the Bledsoe trade, of course, it all depends on the playoffs. Who cares about the regular season? They'll probably get 50, 55 wins, somewhere in that region. Their team is like pretty good, but it's just whether or not, they're not going to be with the 1 seed, obviously, because Kawhi, the whole team just takes rest all the time. But yeah, it's just whether or not in the playoffs they have performers. PG, not a playoff performer. Eric Bledsoe.
He
not a
was
playoff
this year, though.
Nah, he's garb, mate. I don't care.
Mate, he was pretty good this year. I know. Historically, he's been bad, but this year he was pretty good.
Yeah, for the Clippers, man, like the only way they win this trade is if they win the championship. That's my opinion. That's all that matters, and I don't think he makes them win a championship, so they've lost the trade.
Well, AP, who wins the trade? Just in summary.
Clippers don't win, mate. Like I said, mate, they're garb, man. No, they're alright. But look, man, I Pat Bev is garb, but like I said, you need him on your team because he's one of them guys who's really vocal, and a lot of people underestimate the power of that. Look at like Jared Dudley on the Lakers, man. Like, why do you think they got him? Because he's that guy motivating all the boys, and that's worth something.
We have someone in the chat saying, "Let's go AP, mate."
Oh, who said that?
Addy, mate.
Eddie, mate. What's going on, bro?
But yeah, no, there are thoughts on the Eric Bledsoe trade. But be sure to leave any thoughts in the comments or in the chat about what do you think Eric Bledsoe is going to bring to the Clippers. But that brings us on to our next topic, which is the LA Clippers. What are your thoughts on their offseason moves so far, and how will they fare in the upcoming season, Mike?
Ooh, look, I think I said it before a little bit, but Kawhi Leonard, he's the heart and soul. Not the heart and soul, but he's the main guy. He's the guy, right? He's the Kevin Durant, per se, the Michael Jordan of the LA Clippers. He's been the guy at Toronto when they won the championship. He's been the guy at the Spurs with that last championship that team won together, winning Finals MVP against LeBron. And can he be the guy again? No, I don't think he can be the guy. Clippers fans, look, Kawhi's washed. He's been with crazy good teams. He's pushed them over the edge, no doubt. But now that he has his own team at the Clippers, he's gonna get exposed, mate. And he has been exposed. They haven't gotten past. They haven't gotten past the second round, I believe, or the third round, the semis. They haven't got past the semis. They haven't made the NBA final, the conference finals. Have they?
Yeah, they did. They did last season without Kawhi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
True. I mean, they couldn't beat the Suns, so they pretty much didn't make it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Kawhi tore his ACL, though.
yeah. Look, they probably would have made the finals. Okay, I take that back. I'm sorry, Clippers fans. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. But seriously though, can they beat a Lakers team with Russ?
Probably not, eh?
Probably not.
Like, let's be real, mate.
can they beat a Golden State Warriors team with Steph and Clay back to full health? Steph's rejuvenated his shot making game after last season where he was by himself. Steph can now drop 50 whenever he wants, just like he did back in the day when he was MVP. And he didn't get that opportunity much while Kevin Durant was there, but now he's had that chance to freshen up those chops. Can they beat that Warriors team? I don't think so. Then you got the Suns coming back with Chris Paul. They obviously lost in 6, but no Kawhi. Can they beat those guys? Maybe, maybe not. So
Probably, mate. Like,
can they beat the Utah Jazz, mate? I doubt it.
mate, they fully can, mate. What the-
Mate, we all know Joe Ingles is Paul George's father. So yeah, I think the Clippers have a tough season ahead. More misery comes, and unless there's injuries on some of those Western Conference teams, I don't think they're getting to the finals.
Okay, thoughts on the Clippers?
I mean, look, they can definitely make it. It's just whether that 2 seasons ago there was the issue with sort of discipline, right? Kawhi and PG kept taking load management. Last season, Kawhi's injury obviously hurt, but they did look in form. I was liking what they could do. So I mean, it's just luck, right? Whether or not they can do it again. And I think they definitely have the ability to, but it's just going to come down to that discipline as well, because Kawhi is a bit of a bitch, right? Everyone knows. Yeah. So we'll see. And I don't even know if he's going to come back healthy next season because he's just coming off an ACL tear.
Yeah, look for me. I think the signing of Eric Bledsoe was a bit. I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't in terms of that Kawhi injury. In terms of a partial tear to the ACL, that could be from anywhere from 9 months to a year for it's Kawhi as well. So you add on a few extra months on top of that.
Yeah, man, a few extra years, man.
But you add an elite defender in Eric Bledsoe, and you got Reggie Jackson, who is the Clippers' starting point guard. They clear out Patrick Beverley, they clear out Rondo, who are kind of fighting for minutes there. And now you've got Reggie Jackson, who they know is their starting point guard for the future going ahead. Eric Bledsoe as a backup. You got Paul George and Terrence Mann, who I think I'd move PG to the 3 whilst Kawhi's out, and play Terrence Mann and Eric Bledsoe rotate through the 2. And then power forward, you got Nicolas Batum, who was great for France at the Olympics. Played his role, which he needs to do.
His name's not Batum though.
Which he needs to do for the Clippers. And Marcus Morris Sr. So you got good depth there in the 4. And then you got Serge Ibaka, who was out for the playoffs last year. He's still at the Clippers. You got Zubac, who Mike's not a fan of. AP, respect. And you got Boogie Cousins, who's still at the Clippers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
If Boogie stays healthy, I think that Clippers team, for me, I think is still a top 4 team in the West.
I mean, look at a healthy Boogie, right? What was he giving you? 30 and like 14 a game. Just add that to their roster, man, and they've already won.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, without Kawhi, it's obviously a huge.
Yeah.
It's obviously a huge hole to fill. But I think the Clippers have made a good acquisition in Eric Bledsoe. But will it be enough to, get them to the finals? You're probably right, Mike. I don't think the Clippers can make the finals this year, based on what they've done.
Yeah, and
I mean, don't. Sorry, yeah.
No, you go, mate.
I was like, don't forget, man. The Clippers played really well without Kawhi, as well. They all win in games when he was out.
This is very true.
I mean,
Paul George's team. Maybe it's Paul George's team.
I mean, so it could be the thing where all the holes that Kawhi leaves when he's injured just get filled by all the other players, like Terrence Mann. What, he dropped like 39 one of the games to like, what was it? Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, Terrence Mann dropped 39.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible, and we only got to see him do it like once, so hopefully he can do that sort of shit again.
Yeah. I think that, look, you got to look at Kawhi. He's 30. He'll be, if they make the NBA Finals, he'll be 31. He has an ankle injury from 2 or 3, no, I think it was 3 or 4 seasons ago from, what was that guy's name, that center?
Zaza.
The biggest dog in the game. Injured his ankle. And he's never been the same since. He's been nursing that ankle injury, and it's been consistently popping up, flaring up all the time, which is why he's insisting on load management. And now he has an ACL injury, which, as we know, they're notoriously hard to come back from. Kawhi is pretty much like a defense first guy, one of the best defenders in the league, and having a torn ACL that hurts your lateral movement a lot, and that's going to hurt his defensive ability, so he won't be able to impact the game as much on that end. And then you're looking at offensively. Obviously, he doesn't ball handle too much, but his main shot's that fadeaway. Is he going to be comfortable planting off that knee, the leg that where he tore his ACL? So there's a lot of questions that come with this ACL injury. He's not going to come back at the same level that he was. No, I highly doubt that he will. He tore it in the finals, right? So that's, when was that? That was maybe May, yeah. Around May. ACL typical recovery time is 9 months?
Probably longer.
It's like a year, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at 9 months to a year. So if let's just say he gets on those growth hormones, and those LeBron custom-made steroids that LeBron's on, and and you give him a 9-month recovery timetable. He's not back till.
Yeah, I mean, if you see Kawhi's hairline just fucking disappear, he's on the HGH, right? That's what happened to LeBron. So.
Yeah, you're looking at what? He won't be back till Feb? After the All-Star break. Won't be back till after the All-Star break.
At the earliest.
And the rust on him will be insane. He's not going to be the same. It's going to take at least a year and a half, 2 years to get to the same level that he was at.
Wow.
And but he's on the wrong side of 30 for this injury. He's not going to be the same. Clippers made a poor choice signing him to a 4-year deal. Kawhi secure in the bag. Smart play. So yeah, they pretty much have to rely all their hopes and dreams on Paul George, which is not a good thing. So Clippers are screwed this season. They're screwed for the next 4 years. They've traded the house away for Paul George. They're not making the finals. Their best chance was this year against the Suns, and they blew it. So yeah, very pessimistic.
Mike, that is straight blasphemous, man. What are you saying about Kawhi Leonard? Top 5 player in the league. You think he's not going to come back anywhere near as good a player? I can see where you're coming from in terms of lateral movement. Kawhi doesn't need lateral movement. When his hand is as big as your arm, he doesn't need lateral movement to be a good defender. He's an elite defender. In terms of athletic ability, it might hinder him slightly, but we all know Kawhi isn't the fastest dude ever to play the NBA. It's just how smart he is with the ball, how good he is in that mid-range. And look, the 4-year extension, it raises eyebrows when he's just had that serious, potentially season-missing injury. But I think you're really wrong about Paul George as well. I mean, we saw what Paul George did in the playoffs this year. He put the Clippers on his back. Playoff P, earned that name.
That's right.
After that choke, we've made videos on the channel before calling out Paul George for not having moments not having big games in do or die games. But yeah, I think got to put some respect on PG's name. AP's got the shoes. He loves Paul George.
That's right, mate. I got the new ones too, mate. You want to see him?
I mean, why not? Why not?
Show us the shoes, mate.
Here we go, mate. PG 5s.
Oh boy. Oh boy, they're looking slick.
That's right, mate. And look, mate. If he does me dirty this season, mate, you know where these are going, mate. But anyway.
Yeah. So that's
yeah, Mike.
That's what we think about the LA Clippers, especially me. Very opinionated. What do you guys think? Tell us in the chat. And everyone stop slandering AP. I'm seeing a lot of AP slander in the comments.
Probably all you, mate.
No, mate. It's not me, mate. So, yeah, that's what we think about the Clippers. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Moving on to our next topic. We've got the big three in the East. The Brooklyn Nets. They didn't get it going. In the playoffs last year, Kyrie was out. Harden had that hamstring injury. KD had to do everything, which I expect him to do again this season. But what are your thoughts on the best big three in the league? Are they the best big three in the league, AP? What are your thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets?
What are my thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets? Mate, they are just insane. Like healthy, they are unbeatable, I think, and no one really can disagree. Look, they took the Bucks to 7 without Kyrie, who's like their number 3, and Harden was severely injured, mate. Who's their number 2? That it's just insane how they have that team. I'm just thinking about it now. Like 3 players who are all MVP caliber currently still.
Yeah.
How can I criticize them other than their defense, right? But who needs defense when you can just shoot from anywhere, and all your pretty much 3 of your 5 need like a double or triple team to guard.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And you talk about that defense as well, AP, and that's kind of we saw Bruce Brown. He stepped up big time for the Nets last year, and he was rumored to secure the bag elsewhere. But the Brooklyn Nets managed to convince him to sign a 1-year, $4.7 million deal, which is crazy unders for the defensive player that he is. And I think that's credit to him, wanting to win a championship, taking less money for a 1-year deal. And I think that's huge for the Nets to be able to keep Bruce Brown. And then they add the Australian, Paddy Mills. I think the addition of the veteran Paddy Mills, played his entire career under Greg Popovich, knows the game of basketball incredibly well, starred for Australia, last month. So he's in good form coming into this series, into this season. And I really like what the Nets have done there. Mike, thoughts on the Nets?
Look, as we get this intro for 360 Sports on the side of the screen, it's still going. All right, Paddy Mills highlights. Oh, the intro is still there. Don't like their page, like our page. Look, I think the biggest addition is Paddy Mills. Look, you had Kyrie out for a lot of the season, out for the playoffs. They had Mike James, who was just a undrafted free agent who took on that kind of point guard role for them, especially when Harden was out. Paddy Mills comes in, starting level point guard, one of the best point guards in Olympic history. And now he's their backup point guard. Now he's going to take the load off Kyrie. Now he's going to come in, spark plug off the bench. We already know how good of a leader he is being on the Australian team. So now you also have a positive locker room guy, which they've needed because, Katie's a bitch. Kyrie complains. Harden complains. And now you have Paddy Mills to hold that locker room together. I don't know if you guys watched Matisse's vlogs. Paddy Mills and Joe Ingles, absolute great locker room guys for the Australian team. And now they have Paddy Mills in there. So I think Paddy Mills' impact will not only be felt on the court, but they'll be felt in terms of Kyrie more likely to play the whole season because he's going to be taking minutes from him, and locker room wise. So I think that's probably their best signing, and that's another reason, like AP said, this is the best team by far roster wise in the whole league, and they've just made it 10 times better with Paddy Mills.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about adding Paddy Mills. We saw him go 100% in that game. We watched him, mate. Did not miss a single shot. The guy can hit multiple game winners. I honestly would trust him end game with the ball over anyone else on that team. Yeah, mate. Look at what KD did in the freaking overtime, mate. If Paddy was there, would not have happened, mate. They would have won, and it would have been the Nets in the finals against the Suns, mate.
Yeah. Look, that's cap. That's cap right there.
Hey, that is not cap. I'll put my life on it, mate.
AP just dies.
The Brooklyn Nets, they got the best big three in the league, potentially of all time, in my humble opinion. I reckon they got 3.
Now 4, right?
Blake Griffin's not that good, AP.
Paddy, mate.
No, they got 3.
Damn, Blake Griffin, I totally forgot.
They have 3 top 10 players in the league, in my opinion. Offense heavy, and they were known to blow a few big fourth quarter leads, and they've added David Vanterpool into their coaching staff, who's a defensive-minded coach, a respected developer at both guard positions. So I think adding that to Kyrie and Harden, both not known for their defensive work, and they also add former Magic and Charlotte coach Steve Clifford, who was a very defense-heavy coach, and they're kind of really bolstering that coaching lineup behind Steve Nash, who first-year coach. It's a lot of pressure on him. And I think, now that they've had a year together, that big three work together, like obviously KD and Harden have experience with each other, but, it takes time to gel. And I think for me, the Brooklyn Nets, the deserved favorites for this NBA season. And I think with re-signing Bruce Brown, adding Paddy Mills, adding defensive coaches, they fixed the only flaw in their game, which was defense, which is, one of the sides of basketball. There's only two sides. But I think for me, Brooklyn overwhelming favorites for the title, and they'd be my pick if I had to choose right now.
Yeah, and you look at the rest of that team. You look at Jeff Green, like all their pieces, like Joe Harris, Precious Achua. Oh no, he's not on that team. But
Timothy Loa Cabarro.
Yeah, part of that French basketball team that made it to the gold medal game. Didn't win gold though, because they're garbage. But anyways, yeah. Look, that team. It's not only their big three, right? Their big three is everyone knows how good they are. It's the rest of their depth, man. Like they have crazy depth. Obviously Blake Griffin starting, but beneath all these guys, you have starter level players like Paddy Mills, like Joe Harris, who are not going to be playing that many minutes because of this big three. Jeff Green as well. Like Jeff Green was starting on
They lost Jeff Green.
They lost him.
They lost Jeff Green and Spencer Dinwiddie, but they've still got DeAndre Jordan as a backup for Blake.
Yeah, but like Dinwiddie, what was he doing, mate? He was injured, wasn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, Dinwiddie was out, and he's a big advocate for Bitcoin, so I really like it. And he's a big crypto guy, so shout out to Dinwiddie. But they don't need him, mate. They got Paddy Mills. Doesn't even matter. Obviously they got rid of. I don't know. I think the depth is still a big thing. Like, there's just nothing else to say. Like, this team is so good, they're so deep, that there's just nothing for them to really do right now. As long as they play with intensity, and they've all gotten a year together now to add some chemistry in. As long as they play with the proper intensity and don't take games off, they'll win the NBA Finals, no doubt, and they're healthy.
Yeah, I think health is definitely the most important point there. Like,
100%.
Kyrie, man needs to stay on the court, but shouldn't have stepped on Lucky's face. After that Boston Celtics series win, I think karma got Kyrie there.
Facts, mate. Facts.
Oh, mate, did he step on it though? That's the thing. He might have just been cleaning his shoe. Right?
Just goddamn stomped on it.
Why did he even do that? Like,
I think he was getting heckled by the Boston fans after giving Boston nothing for 2 seasons. So I think that was his. Yeah, not a big Kyrie fan. He's a great basketball player, but I'm not a fan of how he goes about it.
Bit of a weird bloke, eh?
Very weird.
Yeah, but to be fair, who was calling him out? Kevin Garnett, right? Who is like the most wild shit talker in the league. Ever, and he's calling out Kyrie for stepping on the logo. So I think that guy does not have a place telling him what to do, mate.
Yeah, another one of those old heads, mate, getting a bit emotionally sensitive about a random issue, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Old heads back at it again.
We got anything more to add
on? No, I mean, like, look, one thing that I do have to say is the Bucks do match up really well against the Nets, and they obviously lost to them last season, so they are the biggest, I guess, contender. If Philly gets into the conference finals with the Nets will take it easy. But yeah, look, the Bucks, wild card here. They're not as good as the Nets, but if they just have 4 good games in that series, which they could very well do, especially, by 4 good games, I mean, can Chris Middleton have 4 good games? Then the Nets could have a worthy contender. Like, you have a guy who can guard every position there. You have Giannis, Chris Middleton, Andrew Holiday. That covers their big three. So whose role players are better? And I'm going with the Bucks there with Bobby Portis.
Mate, they got Paddy now, mate. Paddy's like
true.
Portis times 50, man.
True, but Bobby Portis will lock him up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there are contenders, but it's just all about mentality here, I think. But yeah, that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
All right. Moving on to the next topic then.
Well, yeah, those were our those were our thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets. Be sure to let us know what your thoughts are in the comments or in the chat below. And yeah, moving on to our next topic, we have the NBA finalists, the Chris Paul-led Phoenix Suns. Obviously, lost in 6 to the Milwaukee Bucks in the 2021 season. What did they do in the offseason? How did they bounce back? What are your thoughts, Mike, on Phoenix?
They kept Chris Paul. I did not think they were going to keep Chris Paul. I thought they were going to trade him. They still could trade him. Still could trade him to the 76ers maybe for Ben Simmons. But they kept him. They added Landry Shamet. We all know he's a three-point freak show.
That's it, man.
Don't know how much they need him, though. Maybe just to take the load off Chris Paul during the regular season. And, Chris Paul has been known to play in those 3 guard lineups very well, like he did at OKC. But anyways, I digress. The Suns, they're not going to make the NBA Finals next year. I'm sorry. Even with the addition of Landry Shamet, there's just no way. There's just nothing to say. They just don't have the appropriate depth. They are a very young team, so maybe they'll be there soon. But Booker still hasn't turned that corner, in my opinion, of a top 5 level player. He's not there yet. He's maybe top 15, I would say. He's not a top 5 player. The Lakers are they would easily beat them. They only got to the finals because the Clippers were injured. Nuggets were injured. Lakers were injured. And they blew their chance this year, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Suns fans. I know you're the only ones who are going to watch this video, but it's the truth, mate. So yeah, I see the Suns getting knocked out in the second round by the LA Lakers in 5 games.
Wow. AP, prediction for the Suns this year?
Yeah, look, man, I'm thinking I'm agreeing with Mike here. They're not going to do anything good. Chris Paul is really old. He wasn't really playing that well towards the end of the series either, right? So,
yeah, not very good.
And I tend to disagree with you guys both. They were 2 wins away from a championship. They beat a Kawhi-less Clippers and a AD-less Lakers. But, you can only beat what's in front of you, and that's what they did. However, in the finals, their kind of number 1 flaw was not having a backup big man. DeAndre Ayton, he was tired. He's still very young. I think 3rd or 4th season in the league, and still kind of lacks a bit of defensive polish. So for me, the Suns, the biggest offseason move they needed to make was add a big man, and that's what they did. They signed JaVale McGee on a veteran min.
I forgot about
1 year, $5 million deal. He was huge for the Lakers 2 years ago when they won the championship. Their big 3 of CP3, Booker, and Ayton is one of the best in the league, in my opinion. Mike, you mentioned they added Landry Shamet. He's only 23. And they only had to give up pick 29 and Javon Carter for him. So good backup for Booker and Chris Paul in that kind of can rotate with Cameron Payne through that bench lineup. And they also added Elfrid Payton from the Knicks. He's kind of a similar-ish player to Shamet well, actually, not really. He's a 28% three-point shooter. So do not let that man shoot the 3 ball. But I think in terms of playmaking and adding a little bit of depth to the Suns' guard lineup.
He's a good rebounder for a guard.
This is true.
Actually, he is. I remember there was a couple games 2 seasons ago where he was on the Knicks and he was starting, and his triple-double, he just got like 2 or 3 triple-doubles in a row. So he's got that potential.
Chris Paul, bit of Chris Paul mentoring. And look, Jay Crowder at the 4 for the Suns, I think he's, we've seen what he's done in the finals the past few years. I think the Suns have a really good team. And for me, I'd have them probably 4th in the West. I think, just kind of based on the Lakers would obviously be number one pick. I think the Jazz regular season specialists, and will only get better. Donovan Mitchell, don't sleep. But yeah, for me, I think the Suns will contend compared to your guys. I know you guys aren't as bullish on the Suns, but for me, I'm liking. For me, I'm liking what they added in the
Suns
offseason.
are like the Doge of NBA, mate.
It's not bullish, man. They're a meme.
They made the finals.
Look, here's my honest take. All right, Suns fans, before you crucify me, I don't know if you've watched this far. Like I said, I still don't think you're making the finals. I'm sorry. But you have Jalen Smith. I actually talked about him, I believe, 2 drafts ago or 1 draft ago. One of my favorite power forwards, and he's been playing very well in the summer league. So he could play a really good role helping that interior defense, which they struggled with against the Bucks. Like Liam said, they had JaVale McGee, Alfred Payton as well. I think they're a little too deep at guard, low key. Chris Paul, Cameron Payne will get big minutes. Shamet, Payton, is that too many guys? Too many guards to feed? Probably. But yeah, so I think that they have a lot of good young pieces. You hit that window, that championship window early, but I think we're going to see a pullback here. I think they're going to fall back to earth for a little bit, and then in a few years they'll probably make the NBA Finals again. They're going to have to develop guys like Jalen Smith, make sure Booker gets to that elite top 5 status, yeah, that's probably my general take on the Suns. They're going to pull back a little bit, still play well. But I think more disappointment on the horizon for Chris Paul.
For sure.
Well, those were our thoughts on the NBA losing finalists, the Phoenix Suns. I think they can bounce back next season. But be sure to let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on the Phoenix Suns. Can they go one better and win the finals this year, or will it be a first round exit for Chris Paul once again? Let us know down below.
Poor bloke.
Moving on to our final topic for today, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. It's obviously probably been one of the most talked about teams in the offseason without actually really doing anything. The whole what's happening with Ben Simmons, can him and Embiid work? Is the process still being trusted? Look, I don't know, AP, what are your thoughts? Do they keep Ben? Can they run it back? Can they fix it? What are your thoughts?
Nah, I'm thinking they need to turf Ben. He's just not really a scorer, and I mean that's what that team really needs right now. They got pretty good defenders already. Don't they have Danny Green, or is he gone now?
He's still there.
Yeah.
He's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, they got Danny Green, Joel Embiid. Those guys are 2 pretty good defenders. Ben also, who is elite defensively. But yeah, none of them are really that good at scoring, right? I mean, Embiid's all right. He's all right at scoring, man. He'll get you the points, but he'll be hurt. So I don't know if I can trust him to keep scoring like that, because he's a bit of a glass bloke.
Yeah, I think that the 76ers, you can't rely on Embiid. Like AP said, he does get injured, but he will get you 20 points every game. In the
30.
post, yeah, maybe. He'll guarantee you 20. Tobias Harris, Danny Green, Ben Simmons, Matisse, I guess, maybe is their starting 2. I don't know who's going to.
Oh yeah, Matisse, who's also a freak defender.
Seth Curry.
But let's ignore Seth for a second. That lineup, or the pieces around Embiid, yeah, Embiid's going to get you 20, maybe 30, like Liam said, but no one else is going to consistently score enough points for you to be able to make a proper run against the Nets or against the Bucks. Because they need a scorer. The Nets, they're going to put up 120 a game against you. No, I don't care how good your defense is. We saw the Bucks' elite defense. They're one of the best defenses of all time. The Nets were dropping points with ease against them. Obviously, in that game 6, I believe, KD was getting tired and all that, but they still dropped like 120 that game. And the Sixers don't have the personnel to drop 120. Not against the Nets team. they
Yeah, no way.
like their defense is good, but defense only works if you have a decent offense. And the Sixers offense, we've watched them live, garbage.
Yeah, that's right.
It's pretty much Ben Simmons sprinting at the paint and then throwing the ball behind him to someone at the three. They'll take a three, usually miss, or they'll pass it into the post to Embiid, or they'll try run a play where Ben Simmons in the dunker spot that won't work because there's not enough spacing. It's just not going to work. It's just not. They've tried. It's like what Damian Lillard said about the Trailblazers, but it more so this applies to the Sixers. Can't keep trying the same old thing and expect different results. Simmons hasn't changed. Simmons hasn't changed in 3 years at all. He's still like getting the same. He's become a better defender, but offense-wise, he's gotten more timid.
That's true, man. I mean, his rookie season's been his best season, hasn't it?
I think scoring-wise it was pretty up there, and like you can't win a championship with your point guard not being able to shoot a three, and even if he could shoot a three, or even if he was able to. He just doesn't have the intensity. He doesn't want to shoot. Doesn't want to attack. So that's a mentality.
Yeah, that's
thing.
like a big thing, the mentality. I mean, look at like Giannis and him are arguably like the same player, right?
Similar.
And you got Giannis who can give you 50 in the finals, and you got Ben who I don't even think would even attempt a shot in the finals. Which is a massive contrast for two players who have the exact same play style.
What do you think, Liam?
Look, what do I think? You know, the disrespect you're putting on Joel Embiid's name is downright disgusting. Saying that man 20 points a game, that man's a 30-point per game scorer. Arguably 40 a game when that man's healthy. That man was MVP last season if he didn't get injured, and I'm not debating that. He got injured with about 15 games to go, 20 games to go. Didn't win MVP because of it. In terms of what they've done in the offseason, they actually added Joel Embiid's nemesis in Andre Drummond. With like the kind of beef when he was at Detroit. But Andre Drummond has kind of fallen off, so to say.
Yeah, because he sucks.
The man went from averaging, I think, 16 boards 4 years ago in a season to happily being a veteran backup for the Lakers, not really doing much. In terms of, can he be a good backup for Embiid? Probably, but that's not really what the Sixers needed. They added Georges Niang as well, who I don't know if that really fixes much. Shores up the front court, and they waived George Hill, which I thought was a real interesting move as well, because I thought they would have used him in a trade package with Simmons if they were going to try and move him. I thought, George Hill, a veteran kind of guard, could be useful. Ended up getting picked up. But look, do they trade Ben Simmons is a big question. Everyone's been asking it this offseason. And for me, the old trust the process, I'm giving it one more year. I'm giving it one more year.
You said that last year.
I'm giving it one more year. Because I think for me, as much as Simmons being scared to score is a big issue. I think Tobias Harris needs to figure out, maybe he needs to be the clear number 2 option on that team, and really needs to embrace that role. Seth Curry is a dead set sniper. I think he has the best catch and shoot percentage in the league, better than Steph. Maybe he is the best Curry. But
shout out. You got AP, man.
Matisse Thybulle, we saw at the Olympics, incredible defensive wise, and Tyrese Maxey as well. I think the depth at the 76ers, they've built a team. Will they give it one more year? I'm not sure. We heard the comments from him. Is that chemistry gone? Well, what's Simmons doing? They need to find a trade. If they can get Damian Lillard there, I think the Sixers are probably arguably the favorites in the East. If you have that team, the pick and roll with Embiid and Dame would be unstoppable. I don't know how Brooklyn stop Embiid, to be honest. And then I don't know. That for me makes a lot of sense if they can make that happen. But there's a lot of ifs and buts in between that. But
let's quickly watch this video of Joel Embiid blaming Ben Simmons for that game.
Oh yeah,
against the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, and that's
what was the moment for you personally tonight where your belief in what you had in terms of this being the Sixers' year turned to the recognition that it just wasn't going to happen?
Man, I'll be honest. I thought the turning point was, when we, I don't know how to say it, but I thought the turning point was just, we had an open shot, and we made one free throw, and we missed the other, and then they came down and scored.
He said it himself. Embiid
GG
said it
Ben,
himself. He blames Ben Simmons for not taking that wide open dunk. The chemistry's gone. We don't even have to talk about pieces. Your team's not gonna win if it's just all random pieces thrown together. And if your point guard, who's supposed to be the glue guy, who brings all, runs all the plays, does all that, if your team doesn't trust your point guard, you're not going to win. Not in the playoffs. And Embiid doesn't trust Ben Simmons anymore. Can that relationship be mended? Maybe, but from what we've heard, those news reports, he's not taking calls from the Sixers. I believe he's not been taking calls from Embiid either. So how are you going to mend a relationship if you're not even talking? The Sixers have problems that go beyond, can Tobias Harris become the second guy? He can't, by the way, because he's garbage. Overpaid as hell. Who's paying $30 million for Tobias Harris? Legit garb.
man. I'd rather pay, that much for Paddy Mills.
Yeah, pretty much. And Tobias Harris, not even a great defender. He's like an alright defender, alright guy. He's a $20 million a year guy, not a $30 million a year max player.
Yeah, he's a $20 million over 5 years guy, man.
He's a Luau Deng, mate. Nah, they just don't have it, man. They just don't have it. I'm sad to say it. They just don't have the pieces. Danny Green's garbage. We've seen him. He's past his prime, missing easy open threes. Like, Lakers fans were frustrated by his play 2 years ago. Philly fans were frustrated this year. He's garbage, mate. The only shining light for me is they could trade Ben Simmons. Matisse is a freak show, and he's been playing well. So he's another building block. But yeah, like if we assume there's no trade that happens, you can't play on a team with no chemistry. If I hate another player on my team or I think he's garb, he's not touching the ball. And Ben Simmons without the ball is nothing. He's garb. Like, let's be honest, what can he do without the ball? Nothing. So, Sixers, not good enough to play with each other, let alone beat the Nets. Or the Bucks, or anyone, or they didn't even beat the Hawks, mate. They just had to have the exact same team, mate, and they didn't even beat the Hawks.
Mate, the Hawks are like crazy good though.
Nah, they're garbage, mate. Nah, they're pretty good. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Very pessimistic on every single team except the Nets. Even though I hate the Nets.
And that about wraps it up for today, guys.
Unless Liam has something to add.
Look, Mike, you are out here hating on the 76ers after another failure, which is probably fair enough. It's probably fair enough. They did. That game 7 was really tough to watch. I think they shot 42.5% field goal percentage that game, which is just can't be doing that. 9 of 28 from 3 in a game 7.
Wasn't that at home as well?
It was at home. They were booed off the court. Those Philly fans have been trusting the process a long time. But, I compare them to my Melbourne Demons here, in the AFL. There are a lot of calls for, the coach to be sacked, all these kinds of things, and gave it one more year, top of the ladder at the moment. Maybe the 76ers can do the same thing. Ben Simmons, good friends with Christian Petrarca. Maybe they could talk, they could link up and could fix some of these issues that he's having in terms of confidence. Because Ben Simmons does need some help in that regard. But, like all this all this talk about the 76ers, and we don't know if their starting point guard is going to be there next year. That is essential to how the 76ers perform. But if I was the Sixers, I'd probably start Matisse Thybulle, bench Danny Green. Boy can come off the bench, shoot some threes and whatnot. But start playing the youth. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a real tough situation there for the 76ers. Their fans are super passionate. The fans have look. Ben Simmons has disrespected the fans as well. So the fans, he's out of like, the fans are out of love with him, and you can't win a championship with Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons being your two highest paid players. It's just not. I don't. It just doesn't happen, mate. It just doesn't happen. Embiid obviously deserves to get paid more, but like Embiid is not enough, right? He's not he's not a LeBron. Embiid's not a LeBron. He's really good defender, but offensively, what can he do? He can post up, shoot threes if he gets a pick and pop. That's it. He can't handle the ball. He's not a LeBron who can take over the game when it really, really matters and move all the pieces around him. Embiid can do Embiid, but he can't take 50 shots a game. He's not Wilt. And even Wilt couldn't win championships. So, yeah, Sixers, mate, you're screwed pretty much. That's the consensus here. Does anyone disagree? Are we unanimous?
I think we are kind of unanimous. I think we are. As much as I don't want to be, as much as I want Ben Simmons to prove him wrong, which I really hope he does do. In my opinion, he's one of the best defenders in the league. I think not many people would disagree with that. But, he needs to add that offensive side to his game. And I don't know, like, does he need to watch Giannis tapes, like, on how to drive, these kinds of things? Like, the man has the athleticism, but just, I don't know what's up. What's up, Ben? What's up? Come on, man.
I've been seeing those off-season tapes of him in the gym shooting threes with Rondo. I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah,
I did. The
two past first point guards shooting threes together. Look, Ben Simmons, he's a tease, He's a tease, always teasing us with his off-season videos. Still not returning calls from his teammates. He's a glorified Rudy Gobert that can pass. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference, mate? Rudy's better, mate. That's why he won Defensive Player of the Year over Ben. No, I'm kidding. Ben probably deserved to win it. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. I feel like there's nothing to add. Their roster is garb outside of Embiid. I guess Shake Milton's all right. I kind of like Shake Milton.
Seth. The roster isn't that bad. That's kind of the issue for me. I think they just need to find a good trade deal for Simmons.
Yeah, Drummond doesn't help, by the way.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's a very
garb player.
Yeah, he's like, he's not that motile, right? So he would
just say like Shake Milton.
Mate, Shake Milton's a freak, mate. Drummond is garbage, mate. He's so overrated. That's why he got a $2.4 million contract. Because he's garbage, mate. He's just all numbers. Here's how he gets 20. Here's how he gets 30 points and 20 rebounds a game. Shoots the ball, misses, gets his own rebound. Shoots the ball, misses, gets his own rebound. Hits the shot. Gets a defensive rebound. Shoots the ball, misses, gets his own rebound. That's all that happens, mate. He's a garbage defender. Can't defend. He's strong, don't get me wrong, but garbage defender. Offensively, what are you going to do, mate? You can't play Drummond with Ben Simmons on the court. Can you, mate? No, you can't. You're dreaming. So Drummond definitely does not help spacing at all.
What if Drummond develops the most laser three in the league?
Then he'll be a freak, mate.
Yeah.
All right. I reckon it's time to wrap up this Sixers conversation. Right. I think we're unanimous in
they suck.
Something needs to change. Something needs to change in Philly for them to contend. But Embiid is their man. I'll stand by that. He's not a 20-point per game scorer. Goddamn dis. Anyway, there are our thoughts on the Philadelphia 76ers. Let us know down in the comments below what your thoughts are. How can they improve the team? What do they do with Simmons? Is Embiid the man? Is Seth Curry the man? Is he better than Steph? Let us know. Thanks, guys, for watching.
He definitely is. Anyway, see you later, guys.
Keep tuning in. NBA mornings. Look, the sun's coming out. Outside my window, the sun's coming out.
Hey, the Phoenix, we got a comment here from Snatch. Personally, I don't know why Phoenix gets his own sun while the rest of America shares the other. Well, Phoenix actually has multiple suns because they're the Phoenix Suns. So it's actually an interesting one there, Snatch. Wow. So,
yeah.
Does that mean? But how come the OKC isn't like the Thunder's?